and it is called I Am a Producer. So, just introducing me, a few little facts. I was born on the 24th of April, 1998, which makes me currently 22 years old. Yeah, so happy 20s, basically. I come from a humble village in Philippines where I grew up living in a farm with my grandparents. Yeah, so backstory, protagonist backstory here, you guys. We raised various animals and grew crops, so my earliest memories were having to wake up because the pigs were either giving birth or the chicks had hatched. And I have a dog and I love her to bits. So yeah, few little facts about me. So I started drawing when I was very young, and I started out with a few illustrations, a few sketches here and there. So this is something that I made around when I was 10, and then I ended up doing digital art, and this is something I made when I was 11, 12, and then ventured off into portrait and realism. Some few hand sketches here and there. I had stories in mind with various characters that I wanted to see, and I wanted to visualize those characters, so that's why I drew them. So here's more, something that I made when I was 12, and this is something I made when I was 14. Eventually though, my art style evolved, and I still draw till this day, but it's a bit more different now. So my visual style differs. It depends on how I'm applying it, really. In terms of my illustrations, it can be messy, it can be impressionistic. I was never really fond of those art styles that look incredibly realistic. I was more into ones that showed the brush strokes and showed texture, that kind of thing. And they're sketchier and unfinished, actually. And I know that seems weird because shouldn't all artworks be finished? But I was told that artworks are technically unfinished. All artworks are technically unfinished. They are just simply left abandoned. But for my photography, it's a bit different. It's more planned. My art tends to be spontaneous and carefree. I don't really care if I make mistakes, but for photography, it's much more different. I am very meticulous about it. So I enjoy experimenting a lot with lighting, using colors like complementary, such as blue and orange. And I also enjoy taking street photography. And I'm very penchant for gloomy weather because I do not know why. I just really like it. The ambience is just really nice. So yeah, that is a topic for another day. I also, while I was working in video games, when I was 19 to 21, I made merchandise. I designed merchandise. And I made them into physical products like keychains. So that's what I did. And then I ventured off into making plushies. Pam must be very happy about this. So yeah, I ventured off into making plushies. So I designed them and I had them manufactured. So I had a few manufacturers to make them for me. Unfortunately though, a couple of years ago, I had lost someone near and dear to me. So this put me in quite a depressive slump to the point that I couldn't really draw. And well, I had a lot of problems, and I had to withdraw from my commitments, and that included working and then drawing. So drawing was something that was meant to make me happy, but it just made me miserable, and I was incredibly burnt out. Yeah, so this was when I realized that art really relied on my emotions, but my emotions were fluctuating. So I just didn't think that it was reliable at that point, so I needed to make a change. I needed to think about something that was more practical and that was also more realistic for my future goals. So I decided that art was just going to be a hobby from this point. So, how did I get here? Why did I apply for Morley College London? Well, because I needed a start. I needed something as a base. I needed to continue my education. I didn't finish my not secondary school. I didn't finish sixth form. I got very ill, so I never had any qualifications. I decided that I wanted to go back to school and finish basically my well, basically get a qualification so I can go to university. So that is why I applied for Morley College London and decided to take creative digital media. So, give me a second to breathe. Yeah, so, okay. Well, what I've done so far, really. Well, I haven't been in school for a while, so here's a photo of me to remember me by. Yeah. This is what I started with my digital manipulation, and I was very happy with that work, and I'm sure Philippe was very happy as well. So, well, here's a photo to remember me by. We were nearing into Halloween during that time, so I decided to go for a zombie look. I used to be a cosplayer. I don't know if many of you know that. But I used to be a cosplayer, so using makeup to make my face look unrealistic was something I already knew how to do. I just never knew how to do that digitally. Although I had experience in Photoshop, I never really used it for manipulating photos. I used it more for art. So this was my first time making such an edit. I had to use various references and then manipulate a lot of photos for this. So it took some time, but the process was enjoyable. Unfortunately, though, I am scatterbrained. I didn't record. I forgot to press play when I was recording, so I didn't record the whole process. So that meant that I had to redo everything, and I had to recount, but that was a God-given gift because it made me improve more. So my new and improved version. So I ended up using this photo because it was the only photo that didn't have that many people. There was only one person right here that was in the photos. Yeah, so this was the photo that I used. I had a fun time though doing this one because it reminded me of doing concept art. I definitely preferred and had more success with the uglified manipulations because I wasn't really confident and was unsure on how to approach the beautified ones because beauty can be very subjective, and one, I wasn't comfortable editing my face and making it more beautiful because what is more beautiful than me right now? So I'm joking. Anyways, yeah, but this photo, the sky was a bit too bright actually. I took this on a gloomy day, believe it or not. The sky was a bit too bright and it really threw off the whole image, so I ended up adding the gloomy sky to it because, like I said, I have a penchant for gloomy weather. It was my favorite time, it was my favorite weather. And I changed it into that. And I felt like, yeah, it really helped tie the whole picture together. Yeah, and one of my favorite things about this photo is that I don't know if you guys can see, but there are cracks on the windows. Yeah. I actually put that detail there because I just like it. I suppose I like things that people can't see.
No looting, you will be shot.
So for my photography typology, it was a bit more different. This was my first time being a bit more in depth with my photography. And being a bit more into the camera settings. So as most of you know, I use my Nendoroids for my practice typology. They're basically small cutified figurines of anime and game characters that I collect. I was pretty happy with it, but I realized that it would have been a pain in the neck to take them out of their cases and then reassemble them and assemble them. It was just, I didn't want to go through that process. It was just a bit too much. So I ended up doing something a bit more personal, which was my medication. So this is the medication and vitamins that I take. It's just a few of the many, basically. This is the medication. These are the medications and vitamins that I take on a daily basis, and then I decided on doing my typology on them. So unfortunately, though, these were also a pain in the neck to take pictures of because they had reflective surfaces. So I had a really hard time doing the lighting on them. But of course, as well, the background was a bit of a mess as well because they aren't very uniform. Even though they shared the same camera settings, yeah, they didn't have the same white background. They didn't look great, really. So I decided to add a black background on them instead. And this helped definitely make the whole piece a bit more uniform. Yeah. And yeah, make the background a bit more solid as well. Oh, I am a producer. What exactly? I've shown you guys many things. I've shown you guys many things that I've done, but what am I a producer of, really? So this is my aspiration timeline. This is basically what I wanted to be. There's always that question of like, what do you want to be when you grow up? I changed that answer so many times. When I was 13, I wanted to be a manga artist. Then when I was 18, I decided I wanted to be a video game director and create video games, hence why I worked in video games for some time. But last year, after a long thought and a few drastic changes in my life, I finally settled on deciding to becoming a filmmaker. But you might say, what makes me so sure when I've changed, what makes me so sure on wanting to be a filmmaker when I've changed my mind so much? And I suppose, to be honest, I'm not sure. I just keeping my options open and realistically just accepting change as it does. Still though, it's not really foreign that I would choose filmmaking because my past choices all revolved into one thing, which was storytelling. All my aspirations shared a similar goal, which was to share stories, and that is what I aspire to do. And I chose film as the medium I want to use that. I want to use to do that. So yeah, my strengths. So the survey yesterday showed that my strengths were judgment, social intelligence, curiosity, humility, and perspective. But then I thought, you know what, these are qualities that you would probably see from someone who's taking a psychology course, not a film course. So how can I apply this into film? And how can I apply this into the career that I choose to have? I realized that judgment can lead to great leadership. So I could be good at group work. Yeah, I could use it for group work. Social intelligence, understanding how other people feel, perspective as well, understanding, I would use that to be a really good leader and be a very good director someday. Stories, social intelligence and perspective, humility and curiosity. It all leads to the same point, which is empathy. And the stories that I want to create, I want people to empathize with. I want people to understand, and I want it to be emotional, that I can pull in people's heartstrings. Basically, I want to make drama. So I would use that for my stories, just knowing other people's perspective and being compassionate, and I would use that for creating stories. Curiosity for learning, because that is pretty much what I'm trying to do. I want to learn. I want to expand on my horizons. Yeah, so future plans. So what do I want to do after Access course? Well, I want to go to Leeds. I have a few reasons why I want to go to Leeds, but I want to go to Leeds. I want to go to the University of Leeds or Leeds Beckett University for the Northern Film School. They have a film, the University of Leeds has a film, documentary and media, and yes, that is one course, and it focuses more on theory and the fundamentals of film and pretty much media. So I was a bit hesitant in doing that because I was thinking that maybe I wanted to do something a bit more practical, but then I thought that, you know what, if someday I want to know film, I'd like to learn about what makes a good film. I want to learn the structure first before I attempt anything practical, really. But then also I want to go to the Northern Film School if in the end I do end up choosing that I would want something a bit more practical. So after that, what do I want to do? I want to go to either the London Film School or the Met Film School to study filmmaking, directing. It depends. I'm not sure what masters I want to do. That is something that I will eventually figure out when I finish university. So, the roadmaps to my destination. This is what I so I'm giving myself goals every so often, every few years, just to see how I go. So for 2021, I'm hoping that I finish this Access course. And next, after 2024, or well, at 2024, that I get my bachelor's degree in university. And at 2025, I will do my master's. And at 2025 and onwards, I am working on a film set. And then someday, I hope to own my own production company and create films and also some video games as well, because why not both? So the question is, can I do it? Can a small country girl from a small town achieve all these really expensive goals? Can I? That is the question that I ask myself every day. But we will just have to stay and find out. So, questions. Thank you for listening to my presentation.
Hooray!
Yes, I have a question. I think that art has been a sort of...
Is it alright if you come closer to the mic?
Yeah, sure. Do you think that art has been a creative and therapeutic outlet for you? And what do you want to do after uni in terms of using that creative outlet? What kind of things do you want to make?
Yeah, so like I said, that art was at first, as a child, I was very therapeutic. It was something that I used to de-stress, but eventually when I made it my job, it really crashed and burned. So I just decided that I want to keep that as something that I would use as a hobby, really. So, but I'm thankful that I still do that because I can use that creativity for my work in the future, especially in films, because maybe I want to dabble into cinematography as well. I don't know, that involves a lot of artistic eyes. Yeah. So yeah.
Thank you.
No worries.
Hi, it's Felipe. Do you know about the Damien Hirst show that's on?
I can't hear you, sorry, Felipe.
Do you know about the Damien Hirst show that's on?
No.
Very exciting if you can make it, maybe in the new year. At his own gallery, Newport Street, he's showing a retrospective of his work.
Okay.
I thought of that because of the drugs typology that you made.
Yeah.
And I think the way that you hung the idea of storytelling on, when you talked about storytelling as the thing that glues everything together in your work, I really understood that within that typology of the drugs. And I don't know, is there anything that comes up when I sort of linking specifically the drugs packages with the idea of storytelling?
Yeah, I see it.
He has cabinets that are like portraits of a whole person. So a cabinet of all the drugs that they may take over their life. It's very exciting, but I think everyone will get into it. It's kind of cool show. I really loved your the way you thoughtfully laid out your slideshow.
Oh, thank you.
My question is, did it take a while for you to actually just consider how you paced and you delivered everything?
Yeah, I've had, but not really, no. I did this last night, yeah, so, and I was still doing it this morning. So, yeah, not really, it didn't take me that long. But one thing was clear was that I really wanted to make a story out of this presentation. I wanted a beginning and an end, and I wanted it to make sense. I also wanted it for people to understand where I'm coming from as well, because one thing I'm very insecure about is that I chose to do film quite late, really. It's not something that I thought of when I was young and said that, I've been passionate with film since I was a kid. No, I decided on this just 2 years ago. So I wanted people to understand why I ended up choosing film. So I wanted that structure to be clear in my presentation.
Yeah. It really comes across, actually, that little extra amount of work that you put in. It really shows.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, other guys. Questions?
Yes, just leading on from that, I think great storytelling. I found that really captivating, and it's like you've watched thousands of TED Talks because you just nailed that. So I just wanted
Thank you.
you know, so I don't want that to go unnoticed. I would watch many more presentations if you hadn't. So yeah, well done there. My question is, when you say film, is it for you, is it film in general that you want to do, or is there a particular genre that you would prefer to focus on in your professional life?
Yeah, so I mentioned that I mentioned something about emotions and empathy and like empathizing with people. Yeah, definitely drama, and also a lot about psychological thrillers is something that I actually am very interested in. So when I say film, not the broad spectrum of film, I am talking more about like narrative filmmaking, yeah, making stories, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I'm hoping to do, and what I'm hoping in genre terms is that I'm hoping to make dramas and then anything psychological thrillers as well. Like Bianca, I also want to shock people and maybe talk about maybe make films about unconventional things as well. So.
Awesome.
Cool. Thank you.
More questions? Any questions? A good question.
What's been your favourite part of the course so far? I know it's reiterating what I gave you in the student rep thing, but yeah, what's been the highlight for you so far?
What's been the highlight, you guys? You guys have been the highlight.
Aww.
And I'm not kidding. I left secondary. I'm not. No, why do I keep saying secondary school? I finished secondary school. I didn't finish my sixth form, and I didn't end up making much friends actually. So as sad as it is, yeah, I didn't build much friendship during my time there. So and I really missed out. So I remember saying to Philippe once during the time that he interviewed me for this course actually that I didn't want to go straight to university. I wanted to go to college because I wanted something small. I wanted a small community first, and also because I want to build relationships here that I probably won't have and missed out on. Yeah. So you guys have been the highlight because you guys are the reason that I would come to class every day if I could. Yeah.
We love you.
Because you guys are fun. Yeah.
We love you.
And I hope after all this that we can still keep in contact and, like chat and talk and talk about what happens in uni afterwards.
We are still waiting for the Korean barbecue.
Yes.
Yeah, that's why I offered. Let's have Korean barbecue so let's build friendships, you guys. Because I missed out. Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, I agree. Thank you so much, Seia.
No worries. I do have a question for you guys.
Oh.
Do you think it's a bit too late for me to think about going into filmmaking?
No.
Too late.
No, can I say that from experience? Is like I know a lot of people that have graduated when they were 22, 23, and you think, oh my god, I'm starting late. And a lot of them forgot about it, and then I've seen other people that have taken it on later on in life and are doing great work professionally. So it's all down to how much you want something and not the age at which you do it, which obviously I'm 30 and I'm changing my career drastically. It is down to, and it goes in the professional world, the creative industry, unless you're planning to be a pop star or like an actress, and even then I would argue Morgan Freeman didn't start his acting career properly until he was in his late 50s. It's down to how much work you put in and how much you want it, and you clearly know what you want to do. You've clearly got the skills for it.
I really do. That's very reassuring.
So I would just keep firing on all cylinders and don't question yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And
Thank you so much.
Just to go off the back of what Jake was saying, I have friends as well who work in the entertainment industry, and maturity is a really valuable thing, and life experience. So going into it really young is not what they're looking for. You will be a coffee girl for a long time if you start with 18. So, having that maturity and patience that you have is something that's really invaluable.
No, I appreciate that. Thank you. all this has been reassuring. It's something I'm really insecure about. Yeah.
Don't be, you're awesome.
Thank you so much. See, this is why I like you guys.
We're alright.
Yeah.
I have a question here. So, first of all, I just think your work is fantastic. It's phenomenal.
Oh, thank
I love
you.
it. It was talented. Beautiful to look at. So
Thank
fantastic.
you.
So thank you for sharing it. And my other question was, you mentioned that you had gone through a very challenging time with maths, and you lost your passion for art. And I just wanted to find out how you managed to get that passion back.
Perseverance, really, because I realized that I owe it to myself after all of these years to keep up what I started in the beginning, really. I didn't want to just start something and not finish it. So perseverance, really. And also, I felt like that person that I lost that day, wouldn't want this for me. Yeah. So they would probably want me to keep carrying on and keep pursuing what I want. So that's why. But it's all really deep. Yeah. Yeah. No worries, yeah.
So Leeds.
Leeds? Yeah, I want to go to Leeds.
That's surprising. Oh
Yeah,
no!
I know, it's very surprising. You'd think that I would choose something like, something a bit more specific. No, that is specific actually. But yeah, it's not the most filmy type of school, yeah. But I do want to go to Leeds.
Did you say they actually make stuff as well as they have theory?
Yeah, they do, yeah.
Yeah, cool.
So,
It's important
yeah,
you still make
I do
things.
want, my top two choices are Leeds Beckett and University of Leeds, so either one I'm going to choose. But one is more theoretical and one is more practical. Just depends, really.
Have you talked to many Yorkshire people?
Yorkshire people, I have, yeah. I've been there once and it's really nice. I really like the city. It's a very friendly city.
No.
Yeah, and also it's sort of similar to London without it being London, and I'm really sorry, but I'm just sick of London. I've lived here for 13 years now, so I kind of want to go out and explore other places as well.
Yeah.
But I still wanted that city vibe, so yeah.
Yeah, nice.
You just want cheap pints, I know it.
They will always just talk about how expensive the beer is in London.
Yeah.
That's the only thing Yorkshire people will talk to you about if you say that you've been in London for a long time.
Beer is like the cheapest thing you can get in a bar or pub in London.
They'll say, £5 for a pint? Buy it, you're having a laugh.
Cheaper than London, I'm just saying.
Yeah, amazing. Any other questions? Or are we happy?
I really like that presentation.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop, didn't really want to write any notes, I was so involved with it. It's really, really well put together. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Really played it.
I appreciate that, really.
Little preview on the feedback form stuff.
Yeah, thank you guys, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.